Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Next Level Real Talk Podcast, where we have conversations on the journey of personal transformation and the pursuit of lasting peace and happiness with Sheldon and David. And welcome to another episode of Next Level Real Talk Podcast with Sheldon and David. Hey, David, how are you?
Doing great, having good weather here in Phoenix, so it's awesome. Enjoying it and getting ready for the holiday season. It's cold, getting
Yes,
colder.
colder
So, yep,
relatively.
yeah. So we're getting ready for that holiday season, which is coming up. So it's kind of some good things to talk about the next few weeks. Hopefully we can
Yeah,
kind of.
we are smack dab had just past Thanksgiving and right into December and the holiday season, right? So we were talking about this idea of giving stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because it's the
Hmm.
holiday season and people are, you know, Christmas shopping and all that kind of stuff and just buying things. And um, first of all, the economy's whacked, right? Don't want to get into
Yeah.
any of that, right? But it
Yeah.
is, right? And there's a lot of
Yeah.
uncertainty out there. Cost of living is going up, so it makes it challenging for a lot of us
Mhm.
to afford stuff. So we
And
wanted to
how?
talk. Go ahead.
Yeah. And overall, and you're just gonna say it. Overall, the entire holidays are just stressful for everybody, just because
Yep.
everything that's going on, life is going on, and we are, as you said, gifts. We're talking about presents and buying stuff in this, but there's more to giving than just gifts, and that's what we want to talk
Yeah.
about today, and that's what you're going to talk about.
Yeah, and the holiday season and what does that mean and what is Christmas all about and that kind of stuff. We don't need to get all super deep into, all of that because people have different beliefs about that stuff. But the idea of giving and what is it that you're giving when you're giving away. And we've talked about this in many different ways. Again, I'm all about, the energy that you have, your
Hmm.
beingness, your divinity, your presence means something and matters, right? And so when you are um, sharing that with somebody, it's something of value in and of itself. I had a point in my life where I was this just popped in my head. I had a point in my life where I had a sifu, which is like a teacher, a mentor of mine, and it was a formal mentor teacher relationship. And I was doing a lot of stuff at that time, and I had three different jobs, and I was working 7 days a week at three jobs.
Mm.
And it was broke all the time. And they were all just whatever job, menial jobs. But I was literally working 7 days a week, three different
Yeah.
jobs. And I was also trying to date at that time. And so I'd be like, I've got 8 hours on Saturday and about four on Friday. How's that?
Yeah.
And when you are that tight, one of the things, and I don't even think it was something that my mentor intended, maybe he did, but it was because he's a Chinese guy and he was very funky. It was very weird. A lot of people think it was bizarre what I was doing, but so I don't know if it was the intended lesson. But one of the things that I did learn in that time period was I was so freaking busy that I had literally 12, 15 hours in a week that I could spare.
Mm.
And when you get down to that and you're like, who do I want to spend 4 of those 12 hours with? That's a
Hmm.
third of my free time. And I got 4 hours on a Friday night. Who do I want to spend it with? And you start to really appreciate your time and your value almost and how do I want to
Mm.
spend that commodity of time, my time, because everything else was taken up in these things. And it really did sync with me that um, number one, the person that's spending the time with me, but also willing to spend my time with them is a gift in and of
Hmm.
itself. Like it matters. My time matters, and I don't have a lot of it. And I would love to hang out with you, and that means something to me. And hopefully, it means something to you too, as my friend, kind of thing. Does that make sense? And it was
Yeah.
really weird, but it's something that stuck in my head, and it sort of stayed with me, because this was 20 years ago or something like that. But it was just like, hey, your presence, your time, and who you spend it with and how you spend it with them matters.
Uh huh.
And sometimes we
Yep.
get so busy, right? I know, Dave, you're guilty of this, right?
Yeah, this is the time of year now. As of yesterday, things calmed down because it was swim. Swim was crazy, 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 crazy. Started the school year crazy, crazy, and then swim's over. And I work for the Arizona Interscholastic Association running state tournaments, and so it's got We had cheer last weekend or 2 weekends ago, and that was 30 hours in 2 days. Um, and then this weekend was Friday, Saturday, from 1 o'clock to 9 o'clock, and then Saturday from 10 in the morning to 10 at night. You're done, and so your quality time is pretty much done. But yeah, so busy, busy, busy. But now it gets to be the nice fun time for me. So quality time, it's that generosity of your time.
Yeah.
It's you can be generous, with gifts and give, hey, I'm giving them 8 gifts. Well, your time is very. You can be generous with your time, and then, like you said, who you want to spend your time with. That makes you realize, how do I want to do this? I don't want to just go out and hang
And
out. I want somebody I can hang out that is real quality.
and
So
when I think this is something that happens as you get older too, right? When you're young, you just it's a party, everything's fun.
yeah,
When I was in the Navy, we had an expression that was called "fair weather friends." When the party's good, when the party's good and party's on and everybody's having a good time, you can have a lot of people hanging out. I think celebrities deal with this, right? Where and famous people, right? Where, they're out there and they're the it thing or whatever, and the party's on and uh, you know, champagne's flowing or whatever, right? And everybody wants to be around when that happens. But what
hmm
about when you lose your job or you get, go through a divorce or you go through something traumatic and you get
hmm
sick or something like that and you need somebody to come over, like who's there?
yeah,
So you get your fair weather friends and you get your true friends, you get your true
hmm
relationships and you get those really meaningful ones. And being kind of aware of that, and it's not that those parties aren't fun, right? And there's
hmm
nothing wrong with that,
yeah,
but also being mindful that uh, and I think a lot of what we talk about on this show is just being more mindful, which is really just a way of saying being aware of what you're doing and living
yeah,
consciously. Be,
hmm
taking a moment to think about what it is you're doing and how you're living your life and how you're sharing your time, right? And
yep,
that is a present. You know,
yep,
that saying, "The past is history, the future is a mystery, this moment is a gift." That's
mhm,
why they call it the present, right? So it's a present you're giving somebody. Uh, but you should also, when you're doing that and you're making those commitments, honoring those commitments by actually being there. Because some of us, sometimes, right, you're in one place thinking about the other place. Oh, I got
and
to
we
go here.
and we've talked about that before in an
Yeah,
episode where it was like, hey, you aren't present at
yeah,
that moment. You
yeah,
are like, so if you're doing something, be generous with your time
yeah,
and say, hey, I'm going to go spend time over with these people. Yes, like me, there's something going on during the holiday season. I already figured out there's a semi overlap, but it's like, I'm not going to worry about both at the same time. I'm going to worry about one because one knows that I'm doing the other.
mhm,
I'm going to take care of that. Once that's over, then I'll go celebrate with the other people.
yeah,
Same night,
yep,
but it'll be like, understand this is what's going on.
yep,
This one I will not give up.
yep,
This one I will come to you, but I'll be at a different time than everybody else, which is
yeah,
like, hey. And if you're up front like that, people respect that. And they,
100%.
they, and they really do, what do you call it? They honor that. It's
Yes,
not like, well, God, they don't want to come to my thing. So we'll explain why. Well, I need to go to my daughters and my grandkids and hang out with them,
yep,
and they're going to get my undivided attention.
and
And
that
then after
means
that, I'll come over and hang out with friends. It's like,
yeah,
but that's still being controlling of me
yeah,
and not stressing out, about what am I going to do? I can't do this, can't do that, and being mindful of I want to be with those friends,
yep,
and I want that time because they're willing to give me that gift of time, and
mm,
I got to be willing to give that gift back, okay, in some kind of generosity. Now, obviously, um, we talked about generosity before, I think, and it's not the level that you give; it's just that you give. What can you give?
yeah,
Now, if you're doing money wise, Sheldon may be able to afford $10,000. I can afford 10.
eh.
Now, what's on your heart? No, no, yeah, well, yeah, I said if. I said if. So if you're at that level where you can give a lot, give it. But it doesn't mean that me giving 10 is a bad thing.
Yeah,
Because maybe I only have $100 in discretionary money. I can only give up 10, and
yeah,
that's a lot,
yep,
$100. Sheldon has $1 million, he can give up $10,000.
yep,
So that doesn't mean that either of us are not giving and being generous. So your time is the same thing as being just generous with the people, just having some time and hoping that they understand where you're coming from during that. And on the turn part, you got to understand your friends too. Know that they're being generous, they're being pulled different ways. It's like quality time is quality time. It may be 2 hours, it may be 6 hours. Who knows what you're going to do? But make sure it's quality and make sure that you're being generous and sincere in that moment. So,
yeah, and honoring and respecting yourself and where you are in these
Yep.
times, because everyone's different about what their level of ability to socialize and be present with other people, right?
Yep.
I on the team that I worked with, which is a training team where we would fly all over the country and be training people all day long. So we would be in front of new teammates,
Mhm.
standing there, presenting, talking, coaching all day long. Uh, you would be shocked how many of the teammates that I worked with were introverts. And so
Mm.
when it was over, and we're in the middle of some city we've never been to before, and so sometimes the teammates would go like, "Hey, wanna go grab dinner together?" And sometimes they're like, "No, I'm done. I'm dusted.
Mhm.
I gave everything. I'm an introvert, and I need," and they go back to their hotel and just sit there and turn on a TV show, Netflix, whatever it is, and just veg, and they need that time,
Mhm.
right, to themselves to sort of re-energize and be with themselves and their alone private time. Because for
Mhm.
some people, being around people can almost be energetically draining, and for some of us, it can be energetically,
Uplifting.
revitalizing in a weird way,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And so everyone's different about that, and so knowing, especially in these holiday times and times where there can be more commitments, and then obviously being aware if you don't have a lot of commitments, don't feel bad about that either, right? Because
Mhm.
what the holidays can bring up is a lot of that kind of stuff, but making sure you're honoring where you're at, honoring your need for your own privacy if you need it, being aware of your time needs and your
Mhm.
energetic needs to sit, sit alone, sit with your own family maybe, and hey, one party and that's it the whole week, and some people are
Yep.
like a party every night, and they can do more, and they got no problem with that. And some people like Dave are climbing two parties into one day. You know what I mean, right? And
Yeah.
that everyone's different. And then some people that'd be like overwhelming for them. There's
Mhm.
no way I could do that. So I think just being really aware and honoring yourself wherever that
Yeah.
is, especially in these times, and being
Mhm.
okay with whatever is works for you, and then understanding that your presence when you do decide to share that with somebody is in and of itself valuable and beautiful
Yeah.
and a gift. And
Mhm.
you don't need to show up with an expensive bottle of wine or whatever, You
Yeah.
being with people matters.
Mhm.
And
And like with my friends, so the party they're having is on the 24th, which is a tough night to have it, which is when a lot of people want to have certain parties.
yeah,
Well, that's my time with my family because
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
Ashley and the kiddos go to the other side of the family
Mhm.
on Christmas Day. So I am giving that 100%. I used to not have 100%,
Yep.
and
Yep.
so I'm so blessed that I will never let that go.
Yep.
You know that if someone
It's
says, "Hey, can
very
this day?"
important.
Well, yeah, it's very important that I have that time
Yep.
because I don't see them on Christmas Day, which is
Yep.
tough because I'd
Yep.
love to see them. But it's like okay,
Yep.
I've adjusted to that,
Yep.
and my friends know that.
Mhm.
And they even said, "We know it's a tough day, but we'd love to have you stop by." They would love me to stop by at 10 o'clock at night and stay there till 11. They don't care.
Yep.
Then it's just us. They'd
Yep.
love to have you the whole time. And I'll go back when I was married, a situation that was there throughout the entire marriage. And I've always talked about it to everybody, so I'm being open. It's not just all of a sudden something I just want to gripe about. It's life that I've talked to you about, I've talked to everybody about. Um, my parents were divorced, so right there I had two different parties I had to go to. Okay, that just started off the Christmas right there. Then I got married, so now I added another family. So there's three families. Okay, and then um, at that point, uh, I was trying to juggle everything, and I, being the planner and trying to get things worked out, I said, okay, what time? Um, so I'm just going to be upfront. Okay, my in-laws. Let's say, what time are we having dinner? Okay, Christmas dinner. Oh, we're going to have it at noon. Perfect. Hey, rest of my family, okay, my mom's family, okay, we're having it at noon. Let's have it at 3 or 4. Perfect. Okay. So I go to my wife's family saying early, get there about 10, 11 o'clock, have more time to spend beforehand, have dinner, and leave somewhat close right after dinner. Not spend a lot of time after dinner and head over to my family's, eat and hang out. Long freaking day. Long day.
Lots of
But we
food.
know but we know it's coming. But we
Yeah.
know it's coming.
Yeah.
There were times when I would get to the in-laws' house. Mind you, we're eating at noon because I'm on a schedule to get to the next one.
Yeah.
There's not one thing being cooked. We walk in, we're like, even my ex would say, have that look like I don't smell a thing in here at all.
Yeah.
And you can't cook a turkey in less than 2 hours. Something's not right.
Holy smokes.
So there was no respect for time.
Yeah.
And so that time came into, we were eating at 2 o'clock. Well, I had an hour to get over to my family, an hour, maybe an hour and a half,
Yeah.
depends on what time it was. And so that caused a lot of stress, that caused a lot of anger,
Yeah.
and that caused a lot of problems. And so at that point, it became a big issue,
Yeah.
and I became a bad guy at that point for some things because I said I got to go, and it's like I was rude for that. Um, but you have to go inside yourself and say, okay, what's going to happen here? And eventually, you have to make the changes. Okay, so we eventually made the change to where, okay, that's going to happen because that is not going to change. So my family did it on the day after Christmas. Someone met, and so it was tough, but you have to adjust and have to go. Okay, this is what it's going to be. And if people aren't respecting you in your time, then you got to take care of you. Because I
Yeah.
never took care of myself. I didn't.
Yeah. And then how you do that is hard, right?
Mm-hmm.
How you
Yes.
say that, right? It's one thing to say, "Hey, you know what? I'm really sorry, but you had said that dinner was gonna be at noon, and I kind of
Mm-hmm.
planned for that, and I made other plans because I have other family members, and so I made commitments that I'm gonna honor,
Yeah.
So I need to leave.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry," you know?
Yeah. And it's
Something,
tough to
right?
do that.
It's hard to do
But
that, right? And
yeah,
is to say, "Hey, I gotta go." And they're like, "Hey,
yeah.
you're a jerk," It's just like, "Well, you know what? Really?"
Because your time, you've given
Yeah.
your time, which you need to be okay with because you're there, but you also have commitments other places. So as you're going through this season and you've got all these different parties or different family things going on, depending on how big the family is or how whatever it is the family structure is, be willing to look at it all and adjust, and also adjust for others too. Okay, what do they have going on?
Mhm.
Kind of look at that, but try to give yourself time and be generous because that's the best gift you can give is being with people.
Yeah.
Okay, especially family and friends, and you want to, like my friends that I keep talking about. Um, it's my realtor Kelly and Matt, her husband Matt Williams. So they know the situation, but they know that we're going to have time. When I get there, we're going to have time to hang out and talk, so it's okay.
Mhm.
Um, and so as you go through this season, one, be generous every time because that's a good gift. Okay, that's a good generosity, but that generosity doesn't mean going to have to spend 6 hours with them.
Yeah.
It means doing quality time
Yeah.
and being there and enjoying it and and not stressing about going to the next place, or the next place or the next situation. So try to go in and go, hey, this I'm gonna do it. It may only be an hour or two, but I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna enjoy this and then move on to the next situation.
Yep.
Um,
It's the
so
season of love, right?
yes.
And the
Hmm.
world needs more of that than ever.
Yes. Yes.
Right? I think the world
Um,
needs more love and unconditional love, meaning love that's not judging, but accepting,
hmm.
right? Love that
Yep.
is accepting you, accepting other people where they are, accepting our differences, accepting whatever that is, embracing our similarities, accepting our differences, and just being able to be present and loving with an open heart for everybody that we meet and every that we're
Hmm.
with. That's what this season is about, and it's an opportunity to practice some of that in an energy where everybody kind of embraces that, right? And it's a unique time, right? Because sometimes we get into January and boom, we're just back into the grind, right? And we forget about
Yep.
these things. Obviously, it's
Hmm.
an energy that you would like to carry with you every single day, all the time. But now we have an opportunity to really practice it because it's in the air. So, you know,
Yeah.
being mindful of that and practicing your open-hearted, loving, compassionate energy and thought process, uh, and valuing your presence and being present.
Mhm.
That's all we really had, right?
Yeah, and I want to go back to our last episode.
Mhm.
I'm gonna pull up some stuff that Steven said. Um, he talked about, and this is opposite. I'm gonna make it positive. So hold on a second. There's a lesson here. He talked about the three weeds: complaining, blaming, and excuses.
Mhm.
Um, we could get into that right now. We could this whole month just go down to the complain, blame, and excuse. And I just basically did that. Okay, when we're talking about my story, I was blaming that other situation. But let's stop, as he said, stop and evaluate. Okay, where am I at? Am I complaining? Am I blaming? Am I excusing? Let's stop that and turn it into how can I make this a loving situation? How
Beautiful.
can how can I make it a generous thing that I can give my time, or
Mhm.
how can I make it a generous thing where I can receive their time?
Yeah.
Okay, so be careful. So we're going to go back into that's going to be some homework. Pay attention. Okay,
Yeah.
are you complaining, blaming, excusing? If you are, stop. And there's the other thing is, if we're looking for something bad, it's going to show up. So
Yeah.
if we're in that middle of those three weeds, stop, take a breath, evaluate, meditate, and then look for the lessons. Like, how can I make this work? How can I make this a situation of season where I can have love over here and have love over here and be filled with the whole time of love and not half love and half complaining. So,
Very.
so right there, Stephen. Thank you, by the way. Okay, from last week, so he brought it into this week. That's basically your homework.
And
Is look,
yeah.
look, look, and make sure you're not doing those three things. You're blaming, complaining, excusing. So
And one other message: if you're listening to this and would love to share your story with us, let us know.
yes,
So there's a
yeah,
chance we have somebody else lined up that uh, I didn't even know was listening to the podcast. So had no idea. So
yep.
super excited about that. We got some exciting things lined up. But if you happen to be listening to this and you would be, open and wanting to share your story with us, please let us know.
Yeah, because
Love to have you.
everyone has a story. Everybody
Everyone
has a
has a
story.
story.
And this is the time of the season. Say, if you ever said, "Hey, I'd love to be on a podcast somewhere." Now we're not internationally known. I don't even know if we're nationally known. Might be.
Hey man, we got we got
Yeah,
Steven
we
out there,
are
so we
internationally
got we
known
got
now.
some
Yes, there
Belfasters
you
out there, maybe.
go. Exactly. So that's a good call. But know that hey, if you have a story that you think, hey, this might help somebody, because that's how
Yeah,
we started this. We
yeah.
didn't
That's
think
the
anything.
intention, is to share as many voices, as many
Yeah,
stories, as many perspectives as possible, not
yeah.
just ours.
Your
So
story maybe have some funny parts, some sad parts, some fun
yeah,
parts, whatever it
yeah,
might be. Just share a story. We
yeah,
love to hear stories and have
yeah.
people
Let us
talk
know.
about.
Let us know.
And
You put a comment
you
in
may
there
come
or
back and
whatever.
say, "Yeah, I went to this family's party. Oh my gosh, this is what happened. This is how we dealt with it. Oh, I never thought about dealing with it that way."
Yep,
So be willing to talk about it. Be willing
yep.
to be open if you want to.
Let us
Make
know.
sure you
Yep.
share, subscribe. Any of that, and let us know what you think. And remember, out this week, if you're doing those three weeds, look for the three weeds.
Hmm.
Okay, if they're there, stop, drop, breathe a little bit, and say, "How can I make this into a fun, loving, generous opportunity?"
Yes. Awesome. So thanks for sharing. Thanks for listening. And we love you all. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time.
Keep that smile on.